Hey, awesome. Welcome to week 5. All right, so I want to start off this video talking to you a little bit about our Moodle page. I've made a few changes to make it a little easier. Got some feedback from you guys, which I really appreciate. So I'm trying to make it easier for you to navigate. So I hope I've helped that a little bit. So a lot of it is, scroll way down because I have a lot of the pages that were displayed. Well, I felt that those were helpful. The feedback did make sense to kind of shrink those up to make it easier to find things on the page. So I hope you find that helpful. So instead of all the assignment descriptions there laid out one at a time, just click here for the assignment descriptions, and then you've got the links to them right there. So I hope that's helpful in the sense of navigating our Moodle page anyway. And don't forget you can open up the course index here on the left. And if you want to go to a particular page, you can scroll down here as well and find those things. So I usually keep it closed. So you can scroll down, and of course, all the each individual week's page is there. You just click here. And you can go to that week page, and then the week that we're in, I left it open, so it's right there, so you kind of know where we are, which week we are, so to speak, and those kind of things. So this week, obviously, our overarching theme, since our research proposals are due this Sunday. I'll talk a little bit about APA style guidelines. I don't want to say talk a little bit, but there's quite a bit of information here. So majority of the readings are right here. If you click on here for the APA, and I made a distinction to say the 7th edition, just because there's still a lot of information out there about the 6th edition. And so we're just going to keep current and learn the latest one. Most of these are videos, not really readings per se. They go over and do a really good job as far as how to format your paper. And they do make a distinction in these videos between a published paper, one that's going to go in more than likely, and a scholarly journal. But we're going to obviously concentrate more on the student formatting for now, at least for our research proposals. And this gives you some of that information right there. And we'll talk more about that in another video. But most of that, I don't say it's self-explanatory because there's some nuances to putting those things together, but it gives you those videos do a really good job of providing you with the major aspects of APA style guidelines. And I reiterate them here in these 6 items here, a few things to specifically note about, and we'll go into some of those details throughout the week as well as you go through the videos and talk to you. So right now, obviously, we're doing the week 5 overview video. I do an APA style overview video as well. But in this week 5 kind of overview, while it's focusing on APA style guidelines, I'm going to not inundate you, obviously, with too much information this week, except to try to give you time to finish your research proposals. I've already brought up the research proposal assignment description here. A few things I just want to point out and kind of help you out. I've had a few questions about the Project 1 research proposal, so I wanted to address those. One is always, how does in this case, the page count work with the title page and the references page and those kind of things. So I'll help clarify some of those things right now. So I'll begin with the 3 to 5 page issue. I know we have a tendency over focus, if you will, sometimes on how many pages something is. I'm not a super huge page counter guy, but the page range here I think is pretty accurate. So if you think about, so you have the title page, right? So we'll just call that page 1, okay? Then you start right in, right, with the body. Because when you watch the videos for APA style guidelines, there's 3 major sections for an APA student paper: the title page, the body paragraphs, and the references page, right? So those are kind of like the 3 big ones. In the body, here we have an introduction section, right? The draft of your problem statement, give us the background of some of the issues or what's going on. purpose and audience statement, and a reiteration here of what I just said, the background on the problem, key sources of information or keywords or technical terms that your audience might need to know. All right, so there's at least 1 or 2 paragraphs. Okay, so we're a page and a half-ish in the body. Okay, then you got your plan of work, right? So you want to make sure that you address 2 things primarily in your plan of work when it comes to research. In fact, recall back from last week, we talked about primary and secondary. So those 2 types of research, right? So at least have 2 solid paragraphs, and think also about the example that we looked at too, right? The sample paper, how it went into detail of those things. And then you got your conclusion, right? The so what, right? So there's another paragraph. So we have approximately 2 paragraphs, let's say, for introduction, 2 paragraphs for your plan of work, and a paragraph for your conclusion. And I'm just speaking in generalities here, okay? So about 5 paragraphs, and so that not making paragraphs that are 14 pages long or anything, right, that we learned last semester. So it puts you right about 3 pages-ish, right? And you got the title page and then your references page. So you're in that 3 to 5 page range, okay? So, and there again, it's not like I'm going to pull up your paper and the first thing I'm going to do is look at the page count. Some of you might be able to, get this in 4 or whatever. That's why there's the page range. So don't overly concern yourself with that. Just make sure that your introduction's thorough. You go solid background. You really address the primary research and you really address the secondary research, and then really wrap it up with the so what. If you focus on those things and get those things accomplished, and you have a title page and your references done, the page count will take care of itself. So please don't get too focused, if you will, on the page count, right? Just focus on your content, focus on putting the title page together, focus on your introduction, your background, plan of work with what you're going to do with your primary research, your secondary research, right? You think about those thoroughly, and then your conclusion, right? Why should people care about this topic? What's the takeaway, right? What's the important interest? What are perhaps the ramifications if we don't look at this issue, right? Why is it important? Those kind of things. And so along those lines too, when we talk about in this class, and I know I've mentioned this before, if I haven't made it clear yet, I want to make sure to reiterate it or iterate it for you now. As with all my classes, it's all about revision. So think about this as your first draft. You will get feedback from me, right, on this draft. All right. And then you will have from now till the end of the semester to revise. So when I provide you feedback, I will give you an idea where it's at. Well, grade it. Okay. So let's say you get it back and it has a grade that you wish was higher, right? You can address the feedback, resubmit it. I'll regrade it. Give you more feedback if necessary. All right. Send it back to you. I'll adjust the grade where it's gone up to in the grade book. And then you can decide and choose, from then, how many times you want to revise it, or if you want to revise it, or if you're happy with where it's at, those type of things. So it's very, I don't say buffet style, but you can come back to the buffet as many times as you want to, so to speak, right? So revision is a very key part of writing, part in the writing process. Those of you who had in my class last semester, we talked a lot about that, especially in 1050. 1060, it's still there, right? I don't mean to not place as much emphasis on it, except to remind you that hasn't changed. The writing process is still the writing process, right? So we do brainstorming kind of at first. We find our topics, right? We post and talk about our topics, get feedback on our topics, from our classmates in this case, this semester. Refine that, put everything together. We're writing, we're researching, we're putting this together. Then we get more feedback. You get feedback from me, revise, more feedback, etc. So we'll just know that is standard, right? Not only in all my classes, but obviously is in this class. So have no fear. All right. Okay. Don't want to make this video this long, but I wanted to make sure I address those things for you. So I'll be back with you. We'll talk a little bit more about APA style, provide you, I'll go over those 6 things that are listed there on our page, and then we'll go from there.